When you want to alter the color of your project, you have some options. Here I have three. A stain designed for the pigments to penetrate deeply into the wood. A wash designed to be slightly more on the surface. And a dye, which is similar to a stain, but it dries more quickly and is very strong. Before I pick up and start wiping, I need to mix these thoroughly. You see that? That is all the color that you're trying to get into your piece. You want that mixed throughout. Now I'm ready to begin staining. Fold your rag so the edges are in the inside. That's gonna keep little fuzzies out of your finished layers. I'm gonna rub in the direction of the grain. What I'm not doing is putting way too much on and sloshing it all around everywhere. Putting too much on can cause the wood grain to raise. Then I go back and I wipe it. I make sure the top coat's sort of even, like this. That looks great. Don't over wipe, just leave it and come back when it's dry. So let's talk about dyes. I have this painting here and I want to apply a frame all the way around the outside, but I want my frame to be jet black wood. The reason I've chosen a dye for this is because the pigments in the dye are really saturated. I can get this wood super black and still show the grain. At the end of the day, the way it looks is all about preference, but now you know the process to do it the right way.
That's a really ugly painting.
What? No, it's great. I like it. It's real shiny. If you find yourself splitting wood and you don't know why, it's because you're not using a countersink. I'm gonna show you how to use one the right way. Feels very like a high school shop teacher. See how this screw has a wedge in the top? That's what drives your wood apart and makes it split. To get around that, you need to have a drill bit like this. It's a countersink, and it has a wedge-shaped cutter right at the top. That removes the material and allows this screw to fit flush along the top. How do I know that I'm not gonna drill all the way through my project? I have pre-set the depth using this little set screw that moves this screw up and down. Now I know I can't go all the way through my project. Once that depth is set, I'm ready to pre-drill them all. Done. And I don't have to take the time to do it over because I took the time to do it the right way. What is finish? It's exactly how it sounds. It's how you finish a project. I'm gonna show you 3 of the most common and how to use them the right way. What a finish does is it physically fills the pores of wood and it builds up a coating that protects the wood from moisture and scratches and use. 3 of the most common finishes you'll come across are lacquers, oils, and urethanes. How you want your final project to look will help you select the proper finish to use. Lacquer is typically used in a situation where you want the color to remain the way that it is unfinished because it dries very clear. Oil is a very traditional way to finish furniture, but over time it's gonna dry, so you'll have to recoat it. This is polyurethane. It's the most common because it's the most durable. Its only drawback is it has a slight amber color. When you're applying finish, it's important not to get fuzzies from your fabric into your finished coating. Fold your rag so the edges are in the inside. Dip your rag and rub it all over your piece in the direction of the wood. I'm going to apply 3 coats. The first coat is going to seep into the wood. The speed at which you work is more important than the smoothness on this first coat. The second coat is going to put a layer on top, and the third coat is going to give you that really beautiful sheen. One final tip, between coats 2 and 3, sand really lightly with a 320 grit paper. That's gonna leave your project ultra smooth. Now I'm finished, and the project's finished. And we're all finished. It's finished! Found yourself in a situation with a piece of splintered wood? There is an easy way to fix it, and I can show you the right way. I have this table leg where a piece has splintered off the end. And I know this is gonna seem obvious, but I'm gonna use wood glue to fix it. The first thing I have to do is prepare the splintered wood. See all these little fibers? They need to be pulled off. Otherwise, when I place the piece on the leg, it won't make a clean seam. I'm using a piece of 120 paper to lightly sand the interior of my broken chunk. Repeat this process for both sides of the break. Then, using wood glue, put on enough to cover the entire piece. Don't worry if it's too much, we'll wipe it off later. When you apply it, use pressure and make sure that it squeezes all the way out. Now just wipe it with a damp cloth. Use a piece of painter's tape as a clamp to hold the pressure all the way around the leg. And if a little more glue squeezes out, just wipe it off. Now after waiting a few hours, I can remove the tape. Now that I'm out of the woods, I'm good to use my table again because I fixed it the right way. There's an old saying, measure twice and cut once. But the real culprit is not the measuring, it's the marking. And I'm gonna show you how to do it the right way. The most common way to make a mark is to just put your tape measure up there and make an I or an L. The reason it doesn't work is because it doesn't tell you enough information. The better way is to place your tape measure on the piece of wood and make a V mark like this. That gives you an exact point from which you can take any kind of square you have, place it right on the mark, and draw a straight line. When it comes to marking, don't stop there. Go ahead and label your offcut piece by drawing a big X. That way you know which side is your keep side and which side is your bad side. If you have to walk away from your project, when you come back, you'll know exactly where you are. My second marking tip involves chalk. It's great for labeling parts because it's easy to remove and it doesn't scratch the surface as much as pencil. And it rubs off super well. Now, if you make a mistake, you have no excuse. I've shown you the right way.